Hi everyone, I'm Matteo Collina, and today I'm going to record again the talk I did at Nodejsconfit 2023 in Desenzano, which was not recorded, and therefore I am recording it for all of you to watch if you are interested. So let's get that started. So title of the talk was the first time we met was in 2012. And then I crossed it because I made a mistake. Okay. Why? Well, the first time we met was actually in 2011. The first edition of Nodejsconfit was actually in 2011. So the talk starts great with me messing up the title. But they selected it anyway because of a fantastic talk. And they actually, somebody in the organization actually told me that it was 2012. Anyway, this is great. I'm Matteo Collina at Matteo Collina on Twitter, blah, 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 everywhere, probably. I don't know where you're watching this. And I work for a company called Platformatic. So, do you know what this is? This is a bumblebee. Okay. And why I have a bumblebee in my slides? Well, because Node.js is like a bumblebee. It's not supposed to fly, but it does. Okay, everybody everywhere tried to kill Node or destroy Node or make even Node not to start. Okay, not to exist in the first place and try to suppress the Node community or control the Node community in one form or another, and they failed. And this was the agenda of the first Nodejsconfit back in 2011. By the way, this is the first Node.js conference in Europe. It was the 24th of September, 2011. And I think we had quite a lot of interest here, also because Node.js came out in 2009 and not a lot of production experience on things. Anyway, this was started by a keynote of a friend of mine, Gabriele Lana. He was working at Clean Code at the time, and the title of his keynote was "It's not supposed to fly, but it does." And it was a great talk, great keynote. I loved it, and that shaped all my understanding of Node. And I was in the room. Okay, I went there and visited this Nodejsconfit at the time. And this is one part at the beginning when I was starting to use Node for everything. It's pretty amazing, right? Well, what I do now, you probably know me, but I am part of the Node.js Technical Steering Committee. I'm part of the board of OpenJS Foundation. I created a few libraries called Fastify and Pino, and many others. Probably my software runs on your computer at this point. And I've done a long time of years as consultant. Also, I have a newsletter, whatever. Anyway, this picture is there because my the CEO of Platformatic, Luca, told me that I needed to have a much serious picture for my slides, and so that was it. So back in 2011, I was doing my PhD at the University of Bologna. Yes, okay, and my alma mater, and it's great. And I needed technology to build some of my research on, and I started using Node, and kind of the rest is history. But the funny bits is that I sent a talk proposal to the CFP for the first Nodejsconfit, and it was rejected. Okay, it was rejected. I think I remember the talk. I would need to dig it out, but I don't know where that is. So anyway, at that time in 2011, the project was run by Joyent. I don't know if you know Joyent, but Joyent was a great company that was later acquired by Samsung. It maintained one of the most reliable cloud ever, all built on SmartOS. Unfortunately, SmartOS, it's very hard, or really, 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 really hard. Okay. So anyway, this is it, and which essentially led down to the fact that we had a fork of Node.js. So hopefully that was fun, okay? And that was fun for all of you because what happened with IOJS, and this super fun, most of the collaborators were not happy with the direction Joyent is taking the project. And by the way, Joyent bought the project from Ryan Dahl, which sold the project to Joyent. Okay. And the community of maintainers was not happy with the direction of the project at Joyent. And then they decided to, you know what you do? You fork. Okay. You create a fork called IO.js. Okay. And most of the collaborators were there. And look, you know what happened next. You know what happened after that talk, after the fact that IO.js went away, went with the fork. And I want to thank Fedor in Dutney to do the fork, by the way. Well, what happened was that actually Node.js died. Like there was no new Node.js releases after Node 0.12. Okay, and all of you are actually running IO.js today. So the IO.js project rebranded as Node.js. Both of them converge inside something called the Node.js Foundation, building on the IO.js leadership structure. What does that mean? Well, it means that the Node.js collaborators maintain Node.js Node, okay? And they are the ones that actually decides what gets in or not, okay? They are not, it's not the TSC that, sets, create a roadmap, okay? But in fact, it's whatever one the collaborator wants to do gets in. So it needs to be interesting for people. And, and typically the technical steering committee only steps in if there is some debate, okay? If there is something that requires some decision, okay, in case some two or more maintainers disagree, which essentially goes by of the responsibility of the Node.js Technical Steering Committee, which I am part of. Now, it is the interesting part about what we learn, about what works and not work on the Node.js on open source projects, especially foundational open source projects. Well, what works is you really don't want a company to govern your big foundational open source runtime or something like that, okay? Look at what happened with Terraform, folks, or Elasticsearch or MongoDB or all those great pieces of tech that are not open source anymore. So what happened is that the TSC, the bylaws of the TSC says that only 1/3 of the members of the technical steering committee can be of one given company at any given time. So it means really that no one can control the project. Okay, everything needs to be mediated with the rest of the collaborators, which I think it's great. Okay. Later on, the Node.js Foundation merged with the OpenJS Foundation, which is something that is pretty amazing from my point of view, because it also created a lot of other projects. And now there are 30-something projects ranging from Node.js, Electron, ESLint, Webpack, Express, Fastify, Node-RED, and I know I need the drums, but I don't know if I have the drums. I don't think I have the drums. I should have a sound effect with the drums, which I don't, but I will set it up for next time. But I don't have the drums, and imagine the drums, jQuery. So, and we also maintain the jQuery CDN that half of the world uses in their websites. Okay, so imagine that. Okay. So anyway, this is the OpenJS Foundation. It's great. It's doing a great job. So if you want to get involved with the OpenJS Foundation, please do. So what did we ship from 2011? Okay. Well, the first thing, one of the important thing, one thing that I love the most is promises. We shipped promises. Okay. Thank you. Okay. It's amazing. Then after we have shipped promises, okay, we have also shipped multi-threading. Okay. Oh, but Node.js wasn't single-threaded? Well, no, we can actually build multi-threaded application with Node. It works great. It's super it's performant enough, okay? But it allows you to use all the CPUs in your application. So it's great. It's brilliant. Thank you. we shipped ESM. Half of the world believed that we'll never be able to ship ESM, and we actually did. We shipped ESM, and or AKA import. And we implemented something that is absolutely phenomenal, which is async local storage, which is essentially something like a thread local, but working on inside an event loop based system, and it works beautifully. And we plan to make it even faster in the next release, so please tune in. We shipped web crypto. Okay, I don't know how many of you know about web crypto, but it's phenomenal. It's very important for authentication, cryptography, and all a bunch of other stuff. And I personally was very much involved in this, so we shipped Fetch, which is likely becoming stable in V21 in a couple of weeks. So, pretty good. And despite all attempts at killing it, or supposedly killing it, Node.js is still very, very much popular. And thank you very much, Colin, for the help in plotting this data. So, in fact, this is so popular that the NPM ecosystem is exploding still. Would you imagine that Node.js NPM can explode even more? Okay, I think it has taken over everybody else. If there is one problem, one thing that the JavaScript community has done is that it fixed software reuse at scale. Wow, how come? Okay, anyway, it's so good. Note that this is the LTS release of the stuff that is out or was out recently. Note that we got Node 14 is out, Node 16 is out. They are not maintained anymore, which means no security fixes, which means that at the next security release, it will be gone. Okay, so please update them to at least Node 18 or Node 20. And yeah, bye Node 14. It has been great to see you. This went into April 30. And then it also, Node 16. Bye Node 16. Bye. Let's say goodbye to Node 16. And yeah. But a lot of people are still running Node 16, okay? And Node 18 is actually what I personally recommend for production. Why? Because the end of life is in April 2025. It's so far away that you don't even think about that. It's very stable and so on. I would not recommend to use Node 20, even if it goes long-term support this month, because it has been a rocky road, and I'm going to talk about some of the rocky stuff here in the talk. But it's been a rocky road. It's been very rocky, the terrain here, and there might be still a lot of some bugs in there that we still need fixing. So, and yeah, you can see that the Node 14 and 16 are going down, and Node 10 and Node 20 up. So, yeah, well, this is easy one. And by the way, this is what I talk about. Colin was saying it very right. Node 20 has shipped some very good advancement. It shipped IP highballs. It shipped ESM loaders, new ESM loaders, and IO URing support. All those three things have been very breaking for a lot of people. And once they will start, everything will be stable. We fix all the bugs. They will be great featured, but please be careful. From my point of view, the first version that I would consider running in a production-like scenario was 20.7, which came out 2 weeks ago. And this means it's the first one that can actually run my application, okay? Platformatic. So that's the first one that can run Platformatic in a good way, okay? Just to clarify the problem. So we got a bunch of new features from V8. We Shadow Realm, Find Last and Find Last Index, array method, JavaScript promise integration, WebAssembly improvements, and so on and so forth. Our web platform compatibility story is actually very solid at this point. We have Fetch, we have WebStream, we have request and response, we have web crypto, form data, structured cron, text encoder, decoder, event target, blob, file, and so on and so forth. And the more the merrier. It's great. My favorite feature, though, is the test runner. It's amazing. It's the test runner. So it's great, and it supports subtests, skipping, lifecycle hooks, and module mocking is coming, or maybe it's already come, and it's I love it. Okay, it's just perfect. And how do you use it? It's actually very, very easy. You just import it, and it just works. And you get a nice output if you are on a TTY. So it's great. If you want to shave off some yoctoseconds from the loading of your scripts, you can start using the node colon thing to load your modules. Also, because test is only the node core test runner is only available via node colon test. So it is that. There is that. And we also have watch mode. Hooray, not on Linux. Let's not open that can of worm. So if you want to help implementing watch mode in Linux, please open up an issue and we can talk about it. We have util parsargs for passing arguments, because you know who wants to implement this again, and single executable application, which is brilliant solution to package a full node app inside a single binary together with the node binary. It's really, really good. And that means that you can distribute your app without the node and or npm installation. And what broke everybody was the half-thread ESM loader. This broke everybody. Like every single one of you were broken by this change. And we are sorry for it. But it needed to be done. And this because you know that ESM and promises async await, and you cannot really if you have a promise, you cannot really block the main thread, right? You need to wait for that and resolve it. So what this does, this allow us is it opens up a lot of possibilities. For example, we can use this loader to load both ESM and CommonJS if we want to. We could use this loader, these APIs to do some file system resolutions and blocking the thread by being asynchronous on the other thread. And this is really useful. And you will see how much things will be able to create in the future with this. And how do you use it? Well, you can call out register API from the node column module. And it's great because then you can even start register a loader and communicate with it from the main process. And it just works, and it's great. And you can see an example of this in the Platformatic code base. So we have a permission system, okay, which it's great. And the question for everybody is, do you need a permission system? But, we'll see. And look, we shipped a lot of other stuff. We shipped API-able support. Back in Node 18, we had a we decided to finally stop hijacking the DNS responses. So therefore, we start trusting what the operating system will tell us. So if localhost resolved to an IPv6 address, you would use the IPv6 address. This can be controlled via flag, by the way. But this was started to be problematic for users because, especially on Mac, we had the IPv6 barrier. Like, for example, Docker is not exposing the port on IPv6 barrier, only on IPv4, which means that this was started to fail. Database connection will not happening, and so on and so forth. And this means TLDR further down that we have added support for it for something called API-able, which allows us to connect to both IPv4 and IPv6 at the same time. But it was buggy and it broke a lot of people in the process. But look, it actually went fine in the end. And there are a few things that are incoming in one way or another. The first one is the foreign function interface, or FFI. I'm super excited about this. we are going to ship some level of better TypeScript integration, quick, more Uring, IO Uring, baked APIs, and more promises overall. Also, ESM loader will become stable. So a lot of people ask what to do if they need to report a bug or feature request. They can go to Node.js/node. Node.js/help will provide support if you need that. And we have a page to report security vulnerabilities, but also and a Slack. And it's great. If you need to learn Node, you can use you can go to the link Node to do, and that will be it. So and there is BenGL that has started to follow me, so which is the main that is going to yeah, cool. Okay. So anyway, which is the person that implements FFI. What is going to happen coming soon in V21? We are finally implementing WebSockets. Hooray! I really need to have this as a button.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was fun. Okay, I don't know what I did. So anyway, I really need to have a sound effect for the clap. So and I thought I had it, but I probably don't. So yeah, probably don't. Yeah, cool. So that was it. And then, something very cool arrived, which is the experimental ESM. And it's going to be part of V21. So there will be a flag to flip the default to ESM from CommonJS to ESM. We'll see if that becomes removed, that flag is removed. But, we start to getting experiments with that. Just a quick reminder, I work for Platformatic. I founded this startup to help improve the lives of backend developer like you in Node.js, so using Node.js and not. So come to platformatic.dev if you need me. Thank you, and thanks for watching.